of the week is the Waves Butch Vig Vocals. The Waves Butch Vig Vocals plugin is the latest in the signature series by Waves. Waves, working with Butch Vig, created a plugin that captures the characteristic vocal sound that Butch Vig uses. So the way that this plugin was created is by using the filters, compression characteristic, de-essing techniques, saturation techniques, and parallel compression techniques, putting into a single plugin graphic user interface. So something that might encapsulate 5 or 6 plugins in a chain is all contained right inside this one plugin. Now, the design of this is pretty much kind of somewhere as described by Butch Vig as somewhere kind of between 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea meets Brazil meets Blade Runner. And the basic idea here is that you see this sort of old world, almost time machine kind of characteristic here, which is kind of cool. And just to give a brief overview of the plugin, what we have is an input stage over on the left-hand side, and moving up towards the top will give you the gain in the positive direction and downward in the negative direction. And likewise on the output side over here, moving upward goes towards the gain and downward again towards taking away gain or attenuation. So you have your input and output controls. You have the meters here in the center, which can monitor either input, output, gain reduction, or de-essing. So it will show you those things right there. You get a clipping meter up here at the top. And like all signature series, or most of the signature series plugins, you also have a sensitivity control. So you would set the input so that the LED is lighting at least green, if not yellow, most of the time. And when it lights red, it kind of goes a little bit over, but you definitely want this light to be flickering in some way, shape, or form with the vocal that you're feeding into it. Now, you can break this down into a series of sections here. What we have here is a filter section, a low cut and a high cut filter, and a mid-band cut, which takes away 6.5 dB at frequencies ranging from 301 hertz up to 1 kilohertz. So if you have a particular frequency that is like a muddiness or a marbliness or something like that, a mid-range thing, you can kind of suck out a little bit of thing there. You have an EQ section that's directly above that. So what you have is a boost and attenuation for low frequencies, which is at 300 hertz, presence frequency, which is at 3.5 K, air frequency, which is at 15 kilohertz, and you could boost or attenuate any amount. As he describes it, he kind of measures them out as primarily for boosting, but you can decide what is ever kind of necessary based on the source material. There's also a De-Esser that's built into the circuit here, so it's a real simple knob set to 6K. That's the kind of primary frequency where he likes to de-ess. So you have no other controls than just the single knob, but it works pretty well, as you'll see in the audio examples. The compression circuit here is mostly a combination of the Summit TLA 100A on the 1176, and you'll kind of hear that as you kind of go from the smoother section here, the early part of the compression, into the heavier compression. You can hear this sort of kind of fade from a TLA 100 sound. If you're not familiar with that Summit, it's a great hardware piece. And the 1176, all-time classic compressor, and there's a great way to use that to get it pump and breathe pretty heavily with the all setting, and a lot of that seems to be what's captured there. We also have a focus section, and this seems to be like a band limited, or what he calls EQ compression, and it sounds like a band limited compression that is focused with a slow attack and a fast release. So it's basically for aggressiveness and attack, and you can kind of add that in. There's 2 basic settings, a 1 kilohertz setting and a 2 kilohertz setting, and that's it. There's nothing in between and off. So you kind of flip it on, put it on, it either works or it doesn't, and then you go about the rest of your business and working with the vocal. There's also a saturation section, which is kind of cool. What this gives you is a tube saturation and a solid state saturation. So you have 2 different saturation characteristics, and then a pair of filters that work along with this to cut low and high frequencies. Now this is just for the saturation section. So when you start to work with the signal flow basically works like this. Coming from the input stage, you're metering the sensitivity control. Next up is the filtering. So this would be a classic thing that you would do. You would filter low and or high frequencies and in this case, it also gives you a mid-range dip here. So those would be your filters for the first stage. Next stage is the de-essing stage. So at this point, then you would apply de-essing. That goes into the compressor, and then from there it goes into the 3-band EQ that you see over here. And the rest of it, the focus and the saturation controls, work in parallel with the dry process track as you're feeding it to the output. So the settings here for focus, tube, and solid state saturation are in addition to, or running parallel to the main process track. So this section over here is just running a little bit of a parallel processor. So those are the basics. So let's kind of dig into the sound a little bit here. We'll start with the vocal, and we'll start with sort of a little bit more of a, rock vocal to kind of give you a basic idea of how this works. So
I woke up just in time with chills darting down my spine.
So I want to make sure I'm getting a good.
Take me down, and my feet will
getting
follow.
A good solo.
Wherever
yellow.
My heart goes, I'll come around like I always.
So I want to set this to it's more consistently in the yellow range. Occasionally maybe gets into the red over here. And I'm going to back down a little bit on the gain at the output. As we kind of work with this, you'll find that the plugin has a tendency to add gain as you go along here. So what we'll start with is with the filtering stage. So with the filters, it's kind of cool because the high pass, low pass are pretty aggressive. So they sort of meet somewhere in the middle, like right around 1K, which allows you to do, like, if you just wanted to, take this and.
I woke up just in time with chills darting down.
It's very easy, especially when you work with the saturation.
I woke up just in time with chills.
To kind of create a megaphone or some kind of, just distorted effect for a quick thing in like a bridge section or something. And here, or the main vocal, if that's what you like. So here on the bottom end, we got just a low cut, and it goes, all the way down to 20 cycles. And what you'll find is that, kind of at the lower end here, you're getting at the bottom end of vocals. So maybe most veiled vocals are at the low end, is maybe down in the 80 cycle range or so, sometimes lower if you get a real deep voice. But you could use this to kind of cut away.
Woke up just in time with chills darting down my spine. So take me down, and my feet will.
So you could use this to help cut away some sub-frequencies or maybe some proximity effect from being a little bit too close to a mic or something, like, depending upon the mic that's being used.
I woke up just
and you could also filter some top end to kind of to maybe trim away some noise or some hiss if there's anything like that along there. Or if you're the type that kind of leaves the top end completely open, you could just flip it to off and you're good there. Now the mid-range dip is sometimes a little bit harder to hear, but as you sweep it across, what it will be doing is if you feel like there's a problem area, like maybe in this vocal, like you want to open up the sound a little bit here.
I woke up just in time with chills darting down my spine. So take me down, and my feet will follow wherever my heart goes. I'll come around like.
So maybe somewhere in there kind of opens up the vocal a little bit, takes away a little bit of the muddiness of the vocal. But if you kind of sweep it, it's not like, because it's an attenuation, sometimes it's harder to hear as you kind of work it.
I woke up just in time with chills darting down my spine. So take me down, and my feet will follow.
So if you just kind of follow it there, you can do a quick A/B.
I woke up just in time with chills darting down my spine. So take me down.
And this allows us to kind of dip away, in this case, maybe a little bit of muckiness in the sound. Now, what we have here is a boost, and we'll actually come back to the compression. Let's kind of follow the signal chain as we go along. So if we got the filter section and we've kind of done that, let's kind of work straight to the De-Esser section here. So I want to monitor De-Ess here.
Darting down my spine. So take me down, and my feet will follow.
And you could follow the game.
Wherever my heart goes.
So maybe like
I'll come
feeding
around,
a little bit too
come
much level into it.
around like I always. I'll get my feet on the ground. I'll get my feet on the ground.
All right, let's get to the earlier section here.
Woke up just in time with chills darting down my spine.
This is not like horribly heavy with the S's, so I'll just kind of go with a little bit of a moderate kind of thing right there, and we'll kind of work with it. And then let's kind of go right into the compressor. So in this first part of the compressor section, you'll notice that it has more a smooth character, and then it'll get more aggressive and heavier as you kind of go through.
Woke up just in time with chills darting down my spine. So take me down, and my feet will follow. Wherever my heart goes, I'll come around like I always.
So you can kind of decide here, you can monitor your gain reduction right over here, so you can kind of see what this
Woke up
is.
just in time with chills darting down my spine. So take me down.
So when you get to that heaviest setting, you're getting a pretty heavy amount of gain reduction, as you can kind of see here. And here you're getting like something that's a little bit kind of lighter, a little bit more tonally balancing.
Woke up just in time with chills darting down my spine.
So we'll go with a little bit more of an aggressive, kind of a classic approach here, and I'm going to back off a little bit on the gain to make up for the output of the compressor.
Woke up just in time with chills darting down my spine. So take me down, and my feet will follow. Wherever my heart goes, I'll come around like I always.
So you can hear how that's already opening the sound. Now, from here, let's go straight to the EQ section. And this is where we can really add a lot of ballsiness to the sound. So let's start by putting in a little bit of air on the top.
Just in time with chills darting down my spine. So take me down, and my feet will.
So just hearing that as I bring that air up, which is like 15K, I can be a little bit more aggressive with the De-Esser. You can hear how that kind of opens it up. That's pretty far up there at 15K, and then the presence control is at 3K. So we got this.
Woke up just in time with chills darting down my spine. So take me down, and my feet will follow.
And if I feel like I want to add some body in it, this has like a really, really beautiful, rich, kind of creamy low end to it, starting at like around 300 cycles.
I woke up just in time with chills darting down my spine.
And now we can hear how I'll need to kind of back off on the gain here just to kind of give us a little bit of a better measure.
I woke up just in time with chills darting down my spine.
So we could hear like how just that air that's kind of added in, like that openness, that presence, and that depth. The next thing would be to bring in the focus control. Now the focus control I find works a little bit better if you kind of putting it in with a track. And then you can kind of hear where it sort of fits and sits in the track. Sometimes the soloing it up is not necessarily going to give you the best indication. And you only have two settings, so it's either off 1K or 2K.
I woke up just in time with chills darting down my spine. So take me down, and my feet will follow. Wherever my heart goes, I'll come around like I always. I'll get my feet on the ground.
And that gives you like a little bit of that mid-range focus that kind of pulls it in. So when doing that, I think I'm going to kind of add in just a touch more low end.
I woke up just in time with chills darting down my spine. So take me down, and my feet will follow. Wherever my heart goes, I'll come around.
So you can really hear like how it just brings the sound completely to life. Now, as if all of this isn't enough, just to kind of throw one more layer onto this, is the saturation section. So again, this is running in parallel, and this is as well here. So here what I can do is...
I woke up just in time with chills darting down my spine. So take me down, and my feet will follow wherever my heart goes.
Now, the really cool part about this is if I want like a tube saturation, this is just in full frequency. So I'm just going to put that in. And I'll show you what the solid state saturation, which is a much more like a metallic or edgier kind of sound, edgier kind of distortion.
I woke up just in time with chills darting down my spine. So take me down, and my feet will follow wherever my heart goes.
Okay, so that you can hear like that edginess that it gives, where the tube gives a little bit more of a
I
warmer.
woke up just in time with chills darting down my...
So depending upon what you're missing, what makes this most effective is working with the filters here. So in other words, if I want to give it a little bit more of a higher mid-range presence with that distortion.
I woke up just in time with chills darting down my spine. So take me down, and my feet will follow wherever my heart goes. I'll come around like I always. I'll get my feet on the ground.
So you can kind of hear what that does right there, how it kind of gives it a little bit of a character. You can kind of focus it in, just to add a little bit of edge or presence or make that out a little bit more forward. And by being able to filter out those frequencies, what's really cool is that you can bring warmth if you need warmth into the vocal. You can bring edge into if it lacks an edge. You can bring character, into the mid-range frequencies. And so those filters sort of meet like around 1K or so, just like the low-cut and high-cut filters for the main vocal does. So let's do a little solid state.
Just in time with chills darting down my spine. So take me down, and my feet will follow wherever my heart goes. I'll come around like I always. I'll get my feet on the ground. I'll get my feet on the ground. Yeah.
So you can hear how like the solid state has a different character, and I filtered a little bit more off the top end there.
I woke up just in time with chills darting down my spine. So take me down, and my feet will follow wherever my heart goes.
And if you want that to be a little bit less audible, you can kind of pull this down and kind of work a little bit more of the warmth characteristic and work it like...
I woke up just in time with chills darting down my spine.
Work with the tube.
So take me down, and my feet will follow wherever my heart goes. I'll come around like I always. I'll get my feet on the ground. I'll get my feet on the ground. Yeah.
So each one of those has a different tonal characteristic, and by working with the filters in this, you can get sort of just like a little bit of a presence or an edge. It's kind of like it sounds sometimes like it has a definitive kind of tone to it. And when you take it out and you put it back in, you can really hear the character that it kind of brings. So this is a really, really cool section and really powerful. You can really experiment a lot with this. So, and it's perfect for this type of thing. You can just really saturate, overdrive, filter stuff, and run into, to all kinds of crazy things. It has like a lot of variation given the fact that in terms of the tonal character that you can get, given that a lot of the frequencies and things are fixed in the setup here. But just to show you that this is not just like a rock plugin, that you can kind of use it for some other things. I have another vocal here, and this is a bit more of an R&B kind of vocal. So just kind of working from flat here, what I'm going to do is I'm just kind of take a step back and...
Slow down, baby, take a moment and breathe. I can't hear what you're saying.
So working with this here, the first thing we're going to start was getting the sensitivity, right?
Slow down, baby, take a moment and breathe. I can't hear what you're saying.
Start with a little low end filter.
Stop for a minute, come sit there with me.
No, I don't want to take away the warmth because that's like a big part of it here. So I'm going to be careful about, the low end filter on this. I'm going to leave the top end open here, but there is a bit of a mid-range problem. Sounds like it's somewhere like in the 800 range that could be used like for a dip.
Slow down, baby, take a moment and breathe. I can't hear what you're saying. Stop for a minute, come sit there with me. I can see you're afraid.
So you can hear it when I take it out.
You're scared at my failure, and so you're leaving here before it goes wrong.
And which is perfect because it has a very musical thing. It's not like really dramatic or heavy. Even though 6.5 dB is quite a lot, it has like a very smooth character to it, which is kind of cool. Next is to just kind of go in and maybe just crank in a De-Esser.
Slow down, baby, take a
Set the meters here.
Breathe. I can't hear what you're saying. Stop for a minute, come sit there with me.
So we got a decent start here. Next thing is let's bring in the compressor, but let's kind of stay a little bit more on the conservative side here in terms of the compression, not get into the heavy, 1176 vibe here.
Slow down, baby, take a moment and breathe. I can't hear what you're saying. Stop for a minute, come sit there with me. I can see you're afraid, and I don't know what to tell you. You're scared at my failure.
Okay, so now one of the key things here is going to be bringing in the presence and air into the vocal. So we're going to start here up with the 15 kilohertz and just to...
Slow down, baby, take a moment and breathe. I can't hear what you're saying.
That's a real key to opening up the keep the low end from sounding too muddy.
With me. I can see you're afraid, and I don't know what to tell you. You're scared at my failure.
Focus that.
So you're leaving here before it goes wrong.
Focus that, just that top end a little bit. Sometimes just cutting a little bit of that top end keeps it from sounding too noisy on the air. But we can kind of go back and forth with that kind of thing. And then we also have a presence frequency.
Slow down, baby, take a moment and breathe. I can't hear what you're saying.
Put in a little bit warm.
Stop for a minute, come sit there with me.
And let's listen to that in the track.
Slow down, baby, take a moment and breathe. I can't hear what you're saying. Stop for a minute, come sit there with me. I can see you're afraid, and I don't know what to tell you. You're scared at my failure, and so you're leaving here before it goes wrong. Don't you know you can't keep running from where you belong again? Oh.
So you can hear how if you take a different approach to the plugin here, how you can bring in a real kind of openness and character that suits more than one style. It's not just a rock thing, given these things. And the smoothness, particularly of the low end and the air frequencies, is really powerful. And I love that mid-range dip. It takes just a touch getting used to as you kind of sweep through it, but it's really powerful. I'm not sure if I would go saturation with this, but what the hell, we're here, so let's give it a try.
Slow down, baby, take a moment and breathe. I can't hear what you're saying. Stop for a minute, come sit there with me. I can see you're afraid, and I don't know what to tell you. You're scared at my failure, and so you're leaving here before it goes wrong. Don't you know you can't keep running from where you belong?
So all I did here was just kind of very quickly, I went with the tube just to kind of give it a little bit more of a warmer characteristic, added in a touch, but then filtered. So it's kind of running in that area where a little bit of the marbliness was in that, so I kind of started on the low end like 6K and just at almost at 1.3K or 1.4K right over here. And in that range, just kind of gives it a little bit of just kind of a little bit of a presence in that area that's maybe somewhat similar to what you would get here with the focus control, but not so aggressive.
Slow down, baby, take a moment and breathe. I can't hear what you're saying. Stop for a minute, come sit there with me. I
You can listen to the solid state version.
And I don't know what to tell you. You're scared I might fail you, and so you're leaving here before it goes wrong. Don't you know you can't keep running from where you belong?
Really amazing. Just a little thing. I kind of like the solid state one a little bit better. And mixing it in, it's not like the saturation has to be this overdriven, heavy, distorted thing. Like overdriving or saturating stuff is a huge part of getting great vocal sounds and great sounds and everything. It comes from different places and different things. This is what analog components and analog tape machines and all these things, why they're so popular in emulation form and especially in the hardware form. The way that you overdrive those characteristics and the harmonic distortion characteristics are a big part of the aliveness and the vibrancy of the sound. I think they captured that really well on this plugin. So there you have it, a really good one, not just for rock vocals, the Butch Vig vocals by Waves, latest in the Signature series.